purpose of a European Research Council Synergy Grant is to bring together expertises that are in unrelated domains focused on a new and large question. The title is Justice, or Joining Unique Strategies Together for Interrogative Coercion Elimination. And the focus of the grant is, as the title says, to attempt to remove coercion from the process of investigative interviewing. Very frequently it's the case that people think that confessions are probative, in other words, that they're true irrespective of how they were extracted. Whereas actually it can be the case, and it often is the case, that people do frequently admit to having done things that they couldn't possibly have done because of the conditions of interrogation that they were exposed to. So unfortunately, we know that coercion is widespread in investigative circumstances right across the world. Numerous jurisdictions, probably upwards of 140, use these kinds of practices because their investigative system is confession-oriented rather than truth-oriented. Here we now know from decades of research that these techniques are very poor. So what we're trying to do is to understand the dynamics of why that happens to be the case. Why is it that people, when they come together, make decisions regarding how prisoners or how suspects or how just people who are being interviewed are to be treated? When we talk about coercion during interrogation, we mean a number of different things. We mean prisoner handling, we mean suspect handling, we mean the person who's going to be questioned, how they're handled. Are they treated with respect, or are they treated roughly? Are they kept into conditions of detention where, for example, the room is frigid and they're denied legal access, they're not given water, they're not allowed to sleep, those kinds of things? Or are they treated in ways that are maximally likely to have the person reveal in an ethical way what it is that they know? We shouldn't focus exclusively on people, and we shouldn't focus exclusively on systems. The view that we take is that there's an interaction between the system that the person works in and the person themselves. So systems matter, systems of law matter, systems of incentives matter. So what we want to do at a high level is look across countries and map the extent to which these coercive practices are used or resile from. What we also then want to do is to look at how individual decision making enters into this process. How, when people interact with others, do they come to the decision that actually what we're going to do here is engage in coercive or abusive practices, or the extent to which we are not going to engage in those. So there are 4 teams involved. There's myself here at Trinity, and I'm a psychologist and neuroscientist by background. My colleague Yvonne Daly at Dublin City University is a criminal lawyer and specialises in criminal and investigative law as her area of expertise. Then in the UK, our colleague Dave Walsh at De Montfort University is a forensic investigator. And then finally, our colleague Bennett Kleinberg at Tilburg University is a data scientist who specialises particularly in the use of LLMs. And we're going to have responsibility for different components of it. So Dave and Yvonne, for example, will be doing country level analyses followed by live action studies in a smaller number of jurisdictions. I will be doing small group deliberative studies where people are making decisions about the kinds of ways that they should interact with suspects. They won't actually be involved in the questioning of suspects. And we will be capturing conversational streams, which Bennett will be able to analyse using the latest generation of large language models. And our goal at the end is obviously to try and advance to a situation where we're eliminating coercion, but also to have the positive outcome of creating what we're calling a Mendes LLM, which will be an augmentative AI tool that will help investigators actually pose questions in ways that will allow them to elicit information while not stepping over any of the ethical red lines in regard to how prisoners or others are treated. I'd like to compliment and thank the European Research Council for their support for this work. There is no other funding agency in the world that we could have gone to that would allow us to do this kind of broad and deep investigation of what is an enduring problem in human relations, how we should behave in respect of each other where difficult forensic circumstances are concerned.